Hello, everybody. I am ready to come to you with chapter 18 today. This is the second to last chapter in this book, so tomorrow we'll be able to take the quiz. I actually have two surprises for you tomorrow. Yeah, I was going to tell you one today, but I'm going to wait. I have two surprises for you tomorrow after we read the last chapter. So hard to keep a secret. Okay. Let's just get right into it so I don't spill the beans. Chapter 18 is called Annabelle's Birthday Party. So Auntie Sarah is back in the dollhouse. Grandma Catherine put her there at the end of chapter 17. Everything seems to be coming together. And Auntie Sarah was actually the one who brought up Annabelle's birthday in a couple of days. All right, here we go. The next few days were a whirl of activity for Annabelle and her family. The Palmers kept visiting the dollhouse to exclaim over Auntie Sarah. And of course, all the dolls wanted to spend time with her, to hear of her adventures, of getting stuck under the trunk, about her night in the captain's bed, and they wanted to tell Auntie Sarah all the events of the last 45 years. That would be a little overwhelming to be filled in about 45 years worth of stuff. There was so much talking to be done that no one was as careful as usual about when they moved around or where the humans were or who was at home, but they were careful enough, and no one got caught. At night, the dolls and the Funcrafts ran back and forth between their houses, planning the party. It was to be held at the Funcrafts, since the dolls still had not had a proper visit to their home, had only seen it from a distance. Tiffany told Annabelle to expect a little surprise, but she wouldn't say anything more on that. On the night of the party, the dolls waited until the stroke of midnight before they began the climb down the stool. Annabelle had insisted on that. It wasn't her birthday until midnight, not really, and she didn't want the adventure to begin until her birthday had begun as well. Annabelle watched as her family made their way down the hallway to Nora's room, Mama holding a fresh bouquet of paper flowers. Uncle Doll and Auntie Sarah were in the lead, and Annabelle was proud of her brave uncle. He held Auntie Sarah's hand and talked quietly with her. When the dolls reached Nora's doorway, Annabelle peeked around the corner. "Here we are again," she whispered. Bailey waved to them from the doorway. "Hey, everybody," he called. "Happy birthday, Annabelle. Come on in." So there's Bailey waving from the front of the Funcrafts house. Look at the windows. You can see the windows. Annabelle darted across Nora's floor, her family following. She ran straight to Tiffany, and together they entered the Funcrafts house. Annabelle drew in her breath, ready to say how lovely, how charming the decor was. Instead, she found herself saying, "My, how modern." "Thanks," replied Tiffany. Annabelle gazed around. Everything in the house was plastic, and most of it was pink, and it was still a huge mess. Furniture, books, pots and pans, everything that had come with the house was in a jumble. Chairs were tossed in corners, tables were overturned, pots and pans were scattered about the floor. The kitchen sink was resting on the staircase. Sounds like Nora, all right. "I guess Nora hasn't finished setting up your house yet," Annabelle said to Tiffany. "It isn't that so much," Tiffany replied. "She never even started to set it up, but she plays in the house almost every day, and she just tosses things around. Yesterday, for instance, she was giving baby Brittany rides through the house in the flying sink." Annabelle caught sight of a hideous plastic chicken and a dusting of powder in the dining room and thought she knew what else Nora had been doing. The rest of the dolls had now entered the house. Mama presented the flowers to Mom Funcraft, who was delighted by them. This is so funny. This is a full 2-page picture of the inside of Nora's house. And it fits for sure. It's definitely what I would expect this dollhouse to look like. Oh my goodness, look at that. Let's see if I can see better over here. I see a horse and a duck down there. There's like a little coffee pot over here. The couch is slideways. Oh my gracious. Yep, that looks like Nora, all right. Annabelle saw that Baby Betsy and Baby Brittany were seated facing each other on the kitchen floor. Baby Betsy was nearly twice as tall as Baby Brittany, but neither one seemed to mind. Bailey was leading Bobby upstairs. Dad Funcraft was showing Papa and Uncle Doll the microwave. Mom was showing the computer to Mama and Daddy. Mama and Nanny, sorry. "Do you have your own room?" Annabelle asked Tiffany. "It depends," Tiffany replied. "On what?" "On where Nora puts our furniture. I'm supposed to share a room with Bailey and baby Brittany, but right now Bailey's bed is on the patio and the crib is up on the roof. So I guess I have the room to myself. Do you want to see it? Oh, yes, replied Annabelle. The crib is on the roof. Did y'all hear that? Tiffany and Annabelle ran up the stairs and into what Annabelle supposed was a bedroom. She supposed this because a bed lay upside down in a corner of the room, but she did not see a dresser or a rug or anything else that was in the nursery at the doll's house. Instead, she saw 2 plastic sheep, a couch, a box of Tide detergent, and a dining room chair. Annabelle and Tiffany sat together on the couch. I'll tell you a secret, Tiffany offered. One day, this was quite a while ago, the captain was bothering me. And usually I like him, but this one time he was really being a pain in the neck. Yeah, said Annabelle. Well, he was in the closet, so I pushed the door closed. I shot him in the closet. He was only stuck there for a few minutes before Nora heard him scratching and let him out, but he learned his lesson. Goodness, said Annabelle, impressed. She thought for a moment, then said, I know a secret, too. You do? What is it? I think I know who was writing in Auntie Sarah's journal. Tiffany's mouth dropped open. Who? She cried. I can't tell you yet. I want to talk to the person first. But after you do that, will you tell me? Definitely. So here's Annabelle and Tiffany on the funky couch in the room. That is so funny. That sheep upside down. Annabelle found that she couldn't stop smiling. Suddenly there were a million things she wanted to tell Tiffany, old secrets she wanted to share with her. But Annabelle decided to keep the most important secret all to herself. The secret was this. She believed she had found a true friend, a doll friend. Auntie Sarah was back, and Annabelle loved her, but she was a grown-up. Annabelle loved Kate, too, but Kate was a human. Tiffany was a doll girl of her own age. Annabelle realized she no longer felt restless, and she no longer felt that something was missing. She had found Tiffany, and she felt whole. And she was fairly certain that with Tiffany around, she would never be bored again. The doll friends talked in Tiffany's room for a long time. They talked until they heard Mom Funcraft call from downstairs, Tiffany, Bailey, Annabelle, Bobby, dinner's ready. Annabelle leaped to her feet, pulling Tiffany up behind her. The dolls gathered on the Funcraft's patio, which was only slightly sticky with the remnants of the grape soda. In the center of the patio was a stand on top of which was a brown plastic box with a lid. What's that? Asked Annabelle, pointing. The barbecue, replied Tiffany. Oh, the great taste of outdoors, said Annabelle, remembering. She walked closer for a better look. Does it really work? No, it just opens and closes. Presently, the party was underway. Baby Betsy and baby Brittany sat on a blanket, playing with the pink plastic pots and pans. Mom Funcraft and Mama Doll chatted and set the table, while Dad Funcraft and Papa Doll bustled back and forth between the kitchen and the patio, carrying trays and dishes and cups of plastic food. All right, so here's the scene. We've got, I think that's Uncle Doll and Auntie Sarah. There's Dad Funcraft. I think that's Mom Funcraft. There's Papa Doll. That is Bobby. We've got Nanny. There's their kitty, Kitty Funcraft. There's Bailey, baby Brittany, and baby Betsy, Tiffany, and Annabelle. All having a good time at the family barbecue. And that's their grill, their barbecue they were talking about. Okay, dig in, everybody, said Mom Funcraft. The dolls and the Funcrafts oohed and awed over the feast that was before them. Then Annabelle followed Tiffany's lead and gathered up a plate, a cup, and a checked napkin. They sat on the edge of the patio with the plate balanced on their knees and pretended to eat. Annabelle had never eaten a meal from her lap, and she thought it was fun. When the meal was over, Mom Funcraft said, All right, Tiffany and Bailey will collect the plates now, and then they will help me with something in the kitchen. The rest of you wait here. Annabelle watched Tiffany help her mother and brother. Then she sat back and waited. She had the delicious feeling that something nice was about to happen, and she was right. A few minutes later, Tiffany walked onto the patio holding a pink plastic cake in front of her. Bailey and Mom Funcraft were behind her, and they began to sing. The others joined in. They sang 2 verses. First they sang, Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Annabelle, happy birthday to you. And then they sang, Welcome home and welcome back, welcome home and welcome back, welcome home, Auntie Sarah, welcome home and welcome back. Tiffany set the cake on a table between Annabelle and Auntie Sarah. "I'm sorry we can't put candles on it to make it a real birthday cake," she said. "They won't stick to the plastic, and besides, we don't have any matches. But you can still make a birthday wish, a secret one, okay? You make a secret wish too, Auntie Sarah. Just close your eyes and think your wishes." Annabelle closed her eyes. She thought, "I am the luckiest doll alive. Papa came home safe and sound. Then Auntie Sarah came home safe and sound. I've just had my first real birthday party ever, and I have a friend. I don't need a birthday wish. I only want to say thank you. This has been the best birthday in 100 years. After the cake, Tiffany and Bailey put on a program of songs and skits, and then everybody sang Under the Boardwalk. After that, it was time for the dolls to go home. "What an evening," said Papa, as they reached their house. "How wonderful to have neighbors," added Mama. "How do we manage to live for a century without them?" "I don't know," said Annabelle, thinking of her new friend. "They're so very odd," said Uncle Doll slowly. And yet amazing," said Bobby. "Adventurous," said Auntie Sarah. "Very friendly," said Nanny. "And neighborly," agreed Papa. "But mostly friendly," said Annabelle. The dolls were gathered in the parlor when Annabelle pulled Uncle Doll aside and whispered to him, "Could I talk to you for a minute?" "Of course." Annabelle and her uncle sat at the kitchen table. There's Annabelle and Uncle Doll. "I want to ask you something," said Annabelle. "Yes," replied Uncle Doll. Annabelle watched him fidgeting and thought that Uncle Doll already had an idea what her question was. "Did you know that I had found Auntie Sarah's journal, and were you the one who started writing in it?" she asked. Uncle Doll rested his hands on the table. "Yes," he said quietly. "You were giving me clues, weren't you? Clues that would lead Tiffany and me to the attic." "Yes." "Did you know all along that Auntie Sarah was up there?" "No," replied Uncle Doll. "I wasn't sure what had happened to her, but I had an idea that if she were stuck somewhere, it might be the attic. Then you found the journal, and I started reading it. When I got to the parts about the spiders, well..." Annabelle thought for a moment before asking her next question. "Why didn't you go to the attic?" she said finally. "Me?" said Uncle Doll. I suppose I could have, but you and Tiffany, I don't know." Annabelle knew, though. She knew that what her uncle was trying to say. He'd been afraid, truly afraid, but he had thought Annabelle and Tiffany were brave enough and adventurous enough to do the job. He just hadn't known quite how to ask them to do it, and perhaps he hadn't wanted Annabelle to know how afraid he really was. He was starting to change, though, now, a little, but Annabelle realized just how different she and Auntie Sarah were from Uncle Doll and Mama and Papa and Nanny. And suddenly, breathlessly, she felt flattered. She even felt a bit like a grown-up, which was both scary and wonderful. "Uncle Doll," Annabelle said, straightening herself, "why is it that I don't remember Auntie Sarah leaving our house to go exploring?" "Well, for one thing, she didn't go very often," he replied, "and when she did go, your parents insisted that she do it secretly, that you and Bobby never know she had left. She would climb out the window in our bedroom and drop to the little carpet below. There used to be a rug under our house," he added. "When she returned, Nanny made sure you and Bobby were engaged so you didn't see her." "Why did Mama and Papa want Bobby and me to know about Auntie Sarah's adventures? Was it because they thought we would want to leave too?" "Yep," replied Uncle Doll, "and they felt that it was too dangerous." "And now?" said Annabelle. "What do they think now?" "They still think that leaving the house can be dangerous. After all, look what's happened when we have left our home. Sarah was lost for 45 years. Your father was carried off by a cat. But I think your parents understand that some doll people, you and Sarah, for instance, need to leave the house. You're unhappy when you're cooped up. I believe they'll continue to let you leave as long as you're careful. They want you to be happy, Annabelle, and so do I." "I know," replied Annabelle. "Thank you." She took Uncle Doll's hand in hers, and they sat quietly in the kitchen for a while. One chapter left, guys. Chapter 19 tomorrow. Grandma Catherine and the dolls. So excited. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And like I said, I've got 2 surprises for you tomorrow. Zip it. I'm going to zip my lips and not tell you anything about it. So, all right, you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you back tomorrow to finish this up. Bye.